I'm spreading stories with people that have autoimmune diseases because it's hard enough to advocate for yourself when you're on your worst days, when you're feeling your absolute shittiest. So, today I found another story with someone that has Hashimoto's. They're struggling with managing family members that just don't get it, that don't understand what this disease entails. So I'm going to share their experience with all of you and then probably give a few tips what I might do if I were in their situation. How to manage family who think you're lazy. My dad definitely thinks I'm lazy for not working. The thing is, when I was working for 3 years, I was a zombie and barely able to function prior to diagnosis. I also developed more conditions as a result of pushing myself. I know my family thinks I'm lazy and I should work. My work now can be done from home, and I also work on my health every day. I cook meals and exercise. My dad never cooked meals for me growing up. I struggle with disappointing family. I struggle with who to listen to, my body or my parents. I basically stopped speaking to them for months because I couldn't allow their opinions and disappointment to affect me. I had to use all my power to find answers, to get better. Now that I'm starting treatment and feel sometimes like I'm finally not anxious and depressed, I feel like they are back in my head telling me how lazy I am. How do you manage feeling abandoned with your health and misunderstood while also trying to protect yourself and get better? Oof. Family relationships, or just relationships in general with anyone in your life, is difficult when they don't take the time to understand what you're going through and to equally show that sense of compassion of what how that might feel to somebody, because it sucks when when you feel doubted, like they all of a sudden you're trying to explain to them that you just feel like absolute crap, and then they don't believe you. It's like, yeah, that hurts. It hurts sometimes to have them just think that you're worthless, or at least that's the elevated thought that you get internalized of what your family and peers think of you, is like you're just lazy and worthless. It sucks because we have no control fully over what's happening to our bodies. We can't control that our thyroid doesn't function properly, and that affects multiple organs in our body, and including our energy levels, and including how we process food. And like, there's multiple reasons why we feel this way. It's hard to always articulate to our friends and family that, the multi-layered functions that are affected by this disease. What my therapist at least tried to help explain to me is like, only you know you and what you're going through, and not everybody is going to understand that in your life, including your family. So it's sometimes is better to have that sense of separation and just do what you got to do for your own self-care. Uh, it's hard. It's definitely hard. When you have to tell family members, no, I can't help you today. Today's not a great day. Maybe we could plan something in the future, but that doesn't always, they won't always understand that. They might think you're lazy some days, but it's having self-love as well, and self-compassion. That's another thing my own therapists have been working on with me, because that was hard to accept too, is because I felt this disease has put me so far behind and such a struggle to catch up that it's it's hard to enjoy things sometimes, just because I feel like on the good days that I have to be catching up on getting something productive accomplished and getting out of this rut that I can never climb out of because I've just been in this hole for so long. um, so it sucks. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I have a few very good support system members in my life that are there and would be there if I really needed it. So, and I understand not everybody has that. I at times lacked that worried me very deeply and put me in deep depression and hopelessness and all this stuff. So I would just say find ways to strengthen your own sense of self-care and lean on your support system if you have one as much as you can, and definitely give your gratitude towards those people because they they do a lot. I'm going to read some of the comments too just to see what other people might have say about this. I just learned that one of the main causes for autoimmune diseases is psychological stress, psychological abuse. This makes so much sense for me. I have a feeling this might make sense for you too. You have to advocate for yourself. I would recommend moving out, but if you can't, seek therapy. Get a therapist who can also, or who can help you see your worth and try to find a support system. Yeah, maybe we're seeing the same therapist. One or two people who make you feel seen and heard. If your body is telling you to rest, you need to rest. Drown out the noise of your family and put yourself first. Very good advice. I can't, you know, I'm a broken record at this point. I've been researching victims and narcissistic abuse, and this came up in a video I watched. I will send you the link. My symptoms for Hashimoto slowly started creeping up after having my second child. My pregnancy with that child was very rough because my husband's family, especially his mother, was psychologically abusing me. I knew my Hashimoto's came about due to that intense period of high stress. I even developed an anxiety disorder and was having panic attacks. However, I didn't know how deep the abuse affected me until I started researching this. Now, there is a lot of people like, and it's so much so that it is hard to say, like, yeah, a lot of trauma and stress bring out disease, or it makes you way more likely to have this disease come out. I know it is hard to get them to understand. Maybe you can search for a video online that explains what you're going through. I remember doing this to some members of my family that couldn't understand at the beginning, and mostly because I was very active before. It helps someone else. It helps someone else say it because you're not inventing it, and it's real. It's weird that like people in our lives, the ones closest to us, have that doubt. Like they have to hear it from some stranger online before they take you seriously. It sucks. I mean, it just goes to show so many of us lack that support system in our lives because the people that are supposed to be there supporting us through this are the ones doubting us. Uh, Again, once you find your support system, show them gratitude because not everybody is so compassionate in this world, and so many people lack the understanding of the extremity of what this disease can do. Now, I know some people with this disease barely even notice they have symptoms. And I think I went so many years unchecked with such mild stuff that I never knew what this was until it got way worse. So, uh, yeah, it has different stages, different levels to it too. So I don't know. Not everyone's gonna fully understand and believe you, and that sucks. So thank you for the ones that are there for us and supporting us and helping us advocate and helping us get better treatment because it's a shame that we're this far in advanced technology and everything, and we still lack such compassion and support for this particular disease. My whole family thinks the same about me, that I'm lazy because I struggle getting out of bed. It's just so hard to listen to some comments, and then I just feel depressed all the time. Absolutely. Like, there's been days where it's like I don't have the energy to even respond to this bullshit that people are trying to, like, cut out dairy. And that's like, don't you think I've tried that by now? I've been dealing with this shit for 3 years. Like I went, like that's the thing. Like it's hard to sum up everything you've tried and done already. And I know people are just, obviously they're trying to be helpful to some degree. Sometimes it just sounds like condescending and like, well, this worked for me. It has to work for you too. And you're just lazy and you're not trying hard. And it's like, don't do that too. Like, we're in this together. So certain things have helped certain people as far as cutting out gluten because they had a gluten sensitivity, or they had to cut out lactose because people's bodies are just different sometimes. But just because one person with Hashimoto's has that particular symptom doesn't mean we all do. And just because one person barely gets like has temperature intolerance is one common symptom, doesn't mean like that's the only thing. Like there's people with very crippling, debilitating joint pain, and like people that have such severe digestive issues that just destroy like any ability to have a normal schedule or plan for things. Like it affects your life in such dramatic ways that most normal people don't even like think of, and like they take for granted. So it's like, so for some of us to still remember what it was like to be normal and then have to fricking deal with this every week and every day and shit, it's like, man, I see where people take things for granted now. But you know, there was a section, one of my favorite philosophers' books, and he went through such uh, disease and discomfort himself, but he's like, you know, during those dark times, it's like going enduring the winter until you see the spring, and then when you see the flowers bloom, it's like it made it worth it. So it's like you're cherishing those good moments way more because you've endured the hard times. Um, so that's just something to dwell on or think about too if you're going through tough times. But anyway, this is probably a long video anyway. I'm going to do more of these. If you have other questions, other topics you want to hear about involving autoimmune disease in general, it doesn't have to be just Hashimoto's. I'm familiar with some of the other gut diseases as well. Been looking up that stuff for quite a while now. Yeah, I want these videos to just kind of be little insightful tidbits of information that what's helped, you know, kind of a community thing where if you have helpful information, just get that out there to other people, because especially, you know, all people, from family to doctors to friends and coworkers that don't understand how dramatically this affects people. I'm just getting more of that information out there. So go ahead and share and comment and do what you got to do. But until the next one, see you later.